Hey guys, welcome in on a very happy Friday to you. As we're just around the corner from a whole lot going on in the world of sports, football, both college, NFL, Major League Baseball playoffs will be here before you know it. So will the Breeders' Cup. But before that time, we do have a few very key races coming up. One of them happens to be at Churchill Downs this weekend, and we've got you covered. And who better to talk about the Arlington Million than the pundits themselves, as we welcome in Marco D'Angelo in the house, as well as Sig here, ready to go on this beautiful August weekend. Should be an absolutely fantastic one here, Marco. And I know you're revving up the engines, man. You got all sorts of stuff. Word has it, nobody's seen you in like 3 weeks. You're all holed up. You got football, you got baseball, you got, of course, the races continuing to roll. What's going on, Marco?
It's been a busy time and going to be a busy week next week, Joe. As you know, the big meet and greets here in Las Vegas. So we probably won't have a show next week, being that all of the key members might be intoxicated come Friday at the meet and greet. So looking forward to things in Arlington Million this weekend. Prestigious race, but, you know, I had to look twice because I always thought the Arlington Million was at Arlington Park, but tradition no more. Long-standing racetrack closed its doors last year, and now we got the Arlington Million at Churchill Downs. It just doesn't seem right.
Yeah, not to mention different distance. Everything's weird about it, including the damn name. It's all sorts of strange here, Sig. But I know you got your finger on the pulse of it here, Sig, Saratoga. Del Mar in full effect. How are things going for you, my man?
It's good, Joe. We're halfway through the Saratoga meet, and I took a look there. As of Wednesday, we had hit 11 pick fives through the first 20 days of the meet, totaling over 10,000. We hit another one on Wednesday, and we pick four and pick five for over almost $2,000 on Wednesday. We're still rolling there, guys. A couple more weeks left only. I can't believe we're over halfway through Saratoga. I could go on a half-hour rant about Arlington and the Arlington Million being run at Churchill and the Churchill turf course sucking, but you know what? I'm not going to waste everybody's time with that. So let's get to the race.
All right, let us do it here, guys. We'll tell you how you can hop on board with both Marco and Sig this weekend. Some great deals going on. We'll do that in a second, but let's check it out here as we got 9 horses in this field here. And again, not a mile and a quarter. Mile and an eighth here for this one because, well, Churchill hasn't extended its grounds just yet here, but we do have number 1 set piece coming up of the 9 horses here. And Marco, are you giving up the 4-1 shot so you can take the 9-2, or are you taking the 4-1 and giving Sig the 9-2? What are you going to do?
Sig's hit all those pick fives. We had to let him go first this week, so he gets center stage.
Oh, you see that? Look at that crap, Sig. Unbelievable. Well, you are up, my man. Talk to us here. Number 1 horse. What do you think of set piece here?
Oh, Joe, first off, Marco just made me feel like I was on The Price is Right in the Showcase Showdown, and he passed on the shitty showcase for me. But you know what? Let's get the set piece and the Showcase Showdown. Set piece is Brad Cox trainees, now 6 years old. He's won almost half his career races, but only has 1 win this year so far. That was the Dinner Party Stakes at Pimlico back on Preakness weekend. Other than that, this gelding's missed the board in 3 of his last 4 starts. The thing about set piece, though, is he likes Churchill Downs. 4 wins and 5 career starts there. But remember, guys, this is a brand new turf surface that they installed before the spring meet at Churchill. Raced on for about a month, realized it's not that great of a surface. Took all the turf racing off for the month of June and into July until Churchill ended that spring meet here. So he is going to be racing on a brand new surface, to him at least. Some of these horses have been on this Churchill turf surface, but it's going to be new to set piece. So taking in the history that he's already got 4 out of 5 wins here at Churchill. He likes Louisville, but we don't know if he likes this new turf here. He's also going to need this race to set up perfectly for him here. And we do have some early pace lined up here with Smooth Like Straight and a few others here who like to go fast in the front end. But I look for a couple of things to happen here on the front end. If they don't set up perfectly, set piece is not going to be a factor here. But if this race does set up a little faster on the front end, this may set up very well for him. I think he's a contender in here.
All All right, he's liking number 1 set piece. Kind of hard not to like number 2, Sacred Heart. Chad Brown knows a little something about the Arlington Million, and well, he's won it a few times here. What do you think, Marco? 9-2 in the morning line.
Yeah, you get Chad Brown, you get a turf horse. You can't go wrong there. Now you got Manny Franco on, and although Manny Franco's not the name jockey of some of the other big boys from New York, when he hooks up with Chad Brown, they're winning at a 30% clip. So they got to take notice of that. He is a 7-year-old in this race, and I'm going to point out at some of these horses in here, their age, because this is an open race, and you get 4-year-olds and up. There is an advantage with some of the older horses over some of the younger horses, and I'll talk about that later. Here with Sacred Life, he's going to get the type of trip where he'll be mid-pack, and as Sig just alluded to with the first horse, set piece, there should be an honest pace in this race. There are several horses that want to go forward in this race, giving us an honest pace. And you know, in turf racing, they always bunch up at the wire, and you can look for horses coming from off the pace most of the time. And I think Sacred Life will be one of those horses that is closing in the stretch. The only thing with him is I don't think he's quite as good as a couple others in here. I have him on my ticket, but he's not on the top 2.
7-year-old Sacred Life. We'll move on to number 3. Field Pass here. Mike Maker here with Gutierrez on top. 5-year-old. Knows a little something about Mega City as well. I know you were probably at the Lone Star there, Sig. What do you think of this horse?
I was not there for the Texas Turf Classic, but Field Pass here. I ended up running second that day to Mega City. He was also in this field here. He ended up actually getting the win via disqualification because Mega City was disqualified for some interference in the stretch there. But this Lemon Drop Kid horse, Ford Maker, he's out of Lemon Drop Kid. His best performances come when he's off the early pace here, or just off the early pace setter, and Smooth Like Straight, and as some of the other horses in here, like Mega City, are going to set that honest early pace, like Marco just said here. They might be going a little too fast on that early pace for Field Pass's comfort. And also, you point out Ray Luke Gutierrez is hopping aboard there for Maker. He's not a regular rider for Maker's horses here, but he is a regular rider in that Kentucky circuit there. So it's going to be his first time aboard this horse. And while Field Pass has hit the board 3 out of 4 races this year, I'm concerned that this field's a lot classier than what he's seen in those other races here. And with that early pace here, I don't see it setting up too well for him. He could hit the board a little deep here on your exotics, guys. The only place I'll be using him is in the 3rd spot on a couple late trifectas and the 3rd and 4th spot on a couple superfectas. They just use him deep under, gotta say, on Field Pass.
All right, good stuff there. Moving on to number 4, and before we get to 4, guys, I just want to let you know, of course, Marco continuing to be absolutely red hot here, guys, across the board, and since April 1st, 202 and 168, guys. He is crushing it for his clients. His 4 and 5% plays, 93 and 65 in the last 157, and you can get every play for the next 3 days, guys, for just $59 at his page over at WagerTalk.com. Not to mention Sig. Grab his daily racing reports available every race day, guys, at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, delivered directly to you. You don't have to guess what Sig has got circled on the card. Get those daily racing reports today over at WagerTalk.com. Let's talk about this number 4 horse here, Marco. Smooth Like Straight, Mike McCarthy, and good old Johnny V. But what is this, like the 3rd or 4th jockey his horse has had now? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, Smooth Like Straight actually has had Umberto Rispoli on him for almost all of his starts, except the last one, which he had Flavian Pratt, and the start before and now today with Johnny V, simply because none of those 2 guys showed up at Churchill for this particular card. Now, there's a lot to like about Smooth Like Straight. We know what he's going to do. He's going to bust out of the gate. He's going to go to the front. If they're not going a fast pace, he's going to set it, or he could sit just right off of it if one of the other front runners want to take control. What I don't like about him is he races predominantly in California. He's making the trip east to go to Kentucky. And, I always wonder with these horses that have that home court bias and stay on the Santa Anita and Del Mar circuit. Now, we know Del Mar, they're getting full fields all the time. But when we watch the racing at Santa Anita this year, a lot of 5-horse fields. So that makes things a little easier for a horse that likes to set the pace. You don't have to worry about a cavalry charge at the end. I don't think he's going to be able to get soft fractions here, which is going to set it up for somebody to come off his back. I think he's an absolute contender. You've got to use him in your exotics, especially on the exacta. 21 career starts. He's hit the board 18 times. 15 of those 18 have been first or second. So, yes, I'll have Smooth Like Straight on my exotics, but I'm going to call for a mild upset in this race. You'll find out at the end of the show who that is.
All right, love it. Let's move on. Number 5. Well, Sig, you mentioned him at the Texas Turf Classic, getting pulled down. Mike Maker here, Mega City. What do you think?
Yeah, Marco just talked about Smooth Like Straight going to the front early. He's going to get a challenge here from Mega City, who, if you go back and take a look here, Mega City was just claimed back in May on an allowance optional claiming race by Maker here. They immediately place him right into that Texas Turf Classic, goes out, basically wires the field, does get a little tired in the stretch, drifts out a little bit, causes a little interference, ends up coming down there. But he is going to be the speed in this race along with Smooth Like Straight. And if the two of them lock up early and push each other here, this race sets up really well for a closer. Maker's going to have this one ready here, but this field, like I just said about my previous discussion on Field Pass, this field's a lot classier than what these horses have been racing against here. If Mega City gets into that early speed battle with Smooth Like Straight, I don't see him having the stamina to hold on here. He may hold on for a bottom piece on your exotics, guys, but I don't really think so. If I use him at all, it'll be maybe on 1 or 2 tickets here, just at the very bottom of those exotics here. But Mega City should make a big difference in this race based on that early pace.
All right, moving on. Number 6, Santon, Brendan Walsh trained Tyler Gaffleone on board. This horse knows a little something about this track, Marco. What do you think here? What are the chances?
Yeah, if you like number 6, Santon, you got to be forgiving because you got to take a look at that last race and just put a line through it. Everything that could go wrong for this horse did. You look at this horse. He had to go back to the paddock before the start of the race. He had a shoe problem. They had to tack it on. You never know how that's going to affect the horse when they go back. And, when the blacksmith is tacking a shoe on, he gets a little close, could sting a horse's foot. If he gets it too close to the hoof wall, blah, 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 all of that kind of stuff. But he seemed to be everything going okay. He was running second throughout the race, just stalking the pace, which is nice. He has tactical speed. Then Tyler Gaffleone, he had a gaff. He dropped his crop in the race, so he couldn't whip the horse, coming down. So he had to hand ride. Still was sitting there second, and then the last 16th of a mile, the horse just stopped. That's the question mark here. Was it a combination of the horseshoe and dropping the riding crop, or was there a problem there? Another thing I want to point out in this race, the bright side is this horse only has 7 career starts, still getting better. The problem with that is, as I mentioned on one of the earlier horses, this is an open age race. He is one of the only 2 4-year-olds in here. And being as lightly raced as he is, that experience factor could come into play against some of these more seasoned veteran horses that have been racing against much tougher competition their entire career. This is a big step up for him. I think he can get it done. He'll have the perfect trip in behind the speed. He'll have first run at him, but I think one of the better horses, closers, will catch him at the wire. This is a great betting race because I can make a case for 4 horses to win this race. He's one of them, but he's not going to be my top choice.
All right, moving on to number 7 here, Sig, with Admission Office. We've got a Brian Lynch-trained horse here that certainly likes this track in pretty good form here.
Yeah, Joe, admission office is a 7-year-old here. He is where he likes to be here at Churchill with 2 wins and 2/3 in his 4 career starts at Churchill Downs. He got up late back in June to win the Arlington Stakes over this turf surface, so he has raced on this newly installed turf that they've been having issues with before they stopped racing over that surface there early in June. He should be welcome. He should welcome being back where he is most comfortable at Churchill Downs. But he never gained any ground last out in his last start at Belmont in the Grand Courtier. And while he has found success with 13 top 3 finishes and 19 career starts, there are better closers in this field. He likes to close as well. But Marco just talked about Santon. We talked about Set Piece earlier. They're both better closers with more late speed than we're going to see out of a mission office here. And while Churchill Downs seems to be his home track here, I think you guys can toss a mission office on Saturday. He's not going to play a factor in this race.
All right, he's not like an admission office, so I can't wait to hear what Marco's got to say about number 8, Cavalry Charge here. Dallas Stewart, what do you think of this gelding?
Well, there won't be any Cavalry Charge from him in this one. He's in over his head. He did race a game second in his last race. He stalked the pace from the rail, getting a great ground-saving trip. That was against the softer field. Now he switches to a tougher race. He moves to the outside, which means he's not going to get that ground-saving trip if he's going to have to use the horse early to get position, or he's going to get caught wide in a turn. I just think he's up against it here. And you're looking at a jockey, David Cohen, not sharp right now. He has only been in the money 38% of the time over the last 30 days. And he's only had 8 mounts in the last 30 days. His trainer, Dallas Stewart, ice cold as well, 7% win rate over the last 30 days, and he's only hit the board 21% of the time. This is a total pitch for me, Cavalry Charge.
All right, Cavalry Charge out. That leaves us with number 9, Cellist here. And this 4-year-old, I guess maybe the best thing we can say here, Sig, is that 6 of the last 10 who have won this race are 4 years old. So maybe is that the only good thing we can say about this 4-year-old? What do you think?
Well, Joe, a couple of good things I can say about Cellist. First, he's won both his career starts at Churchill Downs, including the Louisville Stakes back in May, which is over this newly installed turf surface that has many questions about it. Corey Laneri's taking the mound for trainer Rusty Arnold here. He'll get him a nice ground-saving trip in this race here, but he's facing what arguably to me is the toughest field he's ever raced in, and he lacks the early speed, doesn't have a big closing kick, as some of the other ones do in this field here. So I don't foresee him making a difference anywhere here other than filling up the starting gate in that 9th spot here. For me, Cellist is another toss.
All right, Cellist is out. We got 9 horses in this field. And like Marco said, it's a great betting field here in the 11th race at Churchill coming up tomorrow. Guys, we're going to take a look at what both Marco and Sig have on their cards. But before we do, quick reminder, make sure you head over to WagerTalk.com and grab that 3-day all-access pass from Marco so you don't have to guess what's going to be on the card here all weekend long. Just $59. That's a all-access pass. Gets you every play, every sport, including any of his best 5% best bets that he might have this weekend. And Sig, of course, his daily racing reports available each and every race day, guys, by 9 a.m. Eastern time, delivered straight to your box there. All you have to do is head over to WagerTalk.com. His page there, wt.buzz/Sig. Sign up, get those daily racing reports ready as we switch it to Marco. Come on, Marco. I can't wait to see who's at the top of this card. You teased the crap out of it, so let's go. What do you got, my man?
Well, it's the horse I didn't get to talk about, and that's number 1, Set Piece. This is a horse that had the rail in his last start, but he broke dead last. He stayed at the rail at the back of the pack. He had a ground-saving trip in his last start and was rolling up the inside late in that race. Looked like he was going to come straight through, but the rail got a wall of horses there. He had to shift out to the outside a path or two, had an opportunity to split horses. Florent Dureau made a decision just as it looked like he was going to split those horses and go through for the win, it collapsed on him again. He had to get the horse to the forepath, and by that time, it was too late. The horse was flying at the end, but all chance to win was eliminated. So if you're a trip handicapper like I am, that was a horrendous trip for him. He should get a cleaner trip today, and he's going to get a faster pace today than he got in that last race. There are confirmed speed horses in this race, and it's going to set up for set piece. I like this horse. I think he gets the win. Second, I've got number 4, Smooth Like Straight, just because the horse shows up every week. You got to like the horse. He's got that speed. He can be on the lead or right off it. I think he'll be there till deep stretch. Third, I put the 2-horse Sacred Life. And then fourth, I put the 6-horse. I had a lot of problems with Santine. This was a horse that could very easily win this race, given all the problems he had last time out. I had to decide where to put him. The final factor that made me not go with him for the win was the fact that the trainer and jockey are both ice cold. Brendan Walsh winning at just a 13% rate over the last 30 days, and Tyler Gaffleone just winning at a 7% pace over the last 30 days. So I kept them on the ticket. They'll be there at the end, but I don't think they get the win. So for me, it's 1, 4, 2, 6. And as I said, this is a great betting board. I don't think you're going to see an overwhelming favorite out of these 4 horses, which makes for good betting in win and place bets in those exactas on Saturday.
All right, 1, 4, 2, and 6 for Marco. You got it there. So, Sig, talk to us. What does your card look like here for this Arlington Million?
Well, Joe, Marco gave me a nice lead in there, completely ripping my top choice. I love the 6 Stanton in this spot. Like he said during his analysis, draw a line to that last race. Shoe problem, jockey loses the crop. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong that day. But take a look back at all the previous races before that. This horse hasn't missed an exacta. Yes, he's lightly raced. He didn't start racing until September of his 3-year-old season. He's only been racing for less than a year right now, but he shows up every time. Take away the problems, put on a jockey who likes Churchill Downs and Tyler Gaffleone, and a trainer who points his horses to specific races. This being $1 million purse in this race here, I think Santa's got a huge shot. He's going to be running late, and I think Gaffleone gets him up to the wire. In the second spot, I did use the other closer in this race that I like, Marco's top choice set piece, the Brad Cox trainee. While only having that 1 win so far, always shows up. He's always there to finish. I see him getting a nice big run if he gets a nice trip. Smooth Like Straight's going to get challenged early, I think, from Mega City, and possibly also Cavalry Charge, another horse that likes to be racing on the front end here. I think they're going to wear him down, and though Mike McCarthy's been pointing him here since May, no matter how much you train a horse and how much stamina you put in him, if you get challenged early and you got to fight early, you're not going to have as much left in the end. We see it in UFC. We see it in boxing matches. We see it in football games with a stronger defense versus an offense in the fourth quarter. So I think Smooth Like Straight is basically going to not have enough stamina when it comes late and when it counts. I see Set Piece and Santon both making runs at him. And then Sacred Life, I'm never leaving Chad Brown off an Arlington Millions ticket. He's won 4 of them in the last decade. He could do it again here, different place, different turf course. Same Chad Brown results. Chad Brown, the turf, it's always money.
All right, there you go. It is 6, 1, 4, and 2 for Sig here in the Arlington Million. It is a great, it actually really is a great betting race here, guys, and you don't have to guess what's going to be on the full ticket for these guys. Head over to WagerTalk.com right now. Visit Marco's page. Take advantage of that 3-day all-access $59 special. Get every sport, every play of Marco's for $59 this weekend. And, of course, Sig's daily racing reports available now, guys, at his page at wt.buzz/Sig. And don't forget, visit your app store today, whether it be on your phone or on your smart TV. Search out WagerTalk TV. It is in. It is ready to go. The WagerTalk app. You can watch us on the big screen, watch us on the tablets, watch it on the cell phone. Whatever you got, download WagerTalk TV, the app, today. And make sure, those of you on YouTube, hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. Subscribe to the page. Meet and greet next week. Might have to go to rehab after that. But meet and greet next week, and then the week after, we should be good to go. And a return of Pony Pundits as this is all leading up, of course, to the Monster Breeders' Cup eventually. Traverse still coming. We got a lot of great racing coming, guys. But until then, on behalf of Marco and Sig, hope to see you guys out in Vegas. If not, we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Best of luck with your plays this weekend. We'll talk to you again soon.